Hi, I have a question for you. Do you think that you have your own choice? Do you think that you have your own free will to choose whatever you want? Well, I personally don't think so. In fact, I don't think you have any choice at all for really anything, even if it may be simulated that you may have that free will of choice to do whatever you want, to buy whatever you want, or to believe in whatever you want. And I really hope this podcast really does, explain my reasoning as to why. For instance, if you were to take any advertisement that you see on TV, it always appeals to the people that either may need that product or may just want that product due to impulse. Drives people to want to buy things that they don't need due to manipulation because either they want to save money on something or they see a great deal that they may not see again. Another example of this can be seen through one of my interviews with Mr. Schreiker, as we were discussing manipulation and specifically consumer manipulation at first, and his experience basically when it we discussed Amazon and the convenience of Amazon, as well as the want to support local businesses, but also fight with that feeling of convenience and saving money. That $10 that you may save from something may be the $10 you may need for a bill or gas or food. So of course this is recorded, right, Mr. Schreiker?
I do.
All right, awesome. So I'm doing a project on manipulation and how people are manipulated even if they don't think so, through corporations, through society, through politics and whatnot, and explaining to them how their choices aren't their own. And I was wondering if, by any chance, do you feel manipulated throughout society, and if so, where?
I think it can be a bit more complicated than just that. I do think people always have choice, but it's whether or not we are proactive, or if we advocate for ourselves enough, or if we're just in general not lazy to seek out solutions or conditions wherein we're not manipulated. I'll take Amazon for example. Amazon Prime and their delivery system is hands down the most convenient service available at this present time for purchasing odds and ends in a matter of seconds. Not even going to get into the concept of dying malls, because I suppose you could say that they're a byproduct of the manipulation that Amazon currently has over the economy, over local businesses, but also the people, their customers, their consumers. And as much as I'd like to support small local business, as much as humanly possible, I oftentimes find myself, whether it's I'm tied down by certain resources or finances or the time, I'll use their service instead of and allowing them to essentially manipulate me and my money, instead of supporting a local business. I'll give an example. There was I was at a Town and Country or an Ace Hardware, which are typically they're chains, but they're locally owned, in Garner, and they had a skillet, a camping skillet, a heavy duty camping skillet, for $99. And just out of curiosity, while I was in the store and I was ready to purchase it, I went on Amazon Prime and found it for $10 cheaper. And I kind of had an ethical dilemma at that point, but I opted to save money, given the fact that me and my wife, we're middle class, but we're certainly not upper middle class, and saving money where we can is important. So I chose to purchase the skillet from Amazon Prime.
So it's like that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So it's like that feeling of convenience and feeling of needing to, really necessity of needing to save money. Not judging anyone for saving money. It's the best thing in the world because you have more for other things, more for the future and whatnot.
But it's manipulating consumerism.
Right. Now let's look at the pros and cons of this. Well, a pro could easily be businesses are making money. The economy is becoming stronger. Hooray! That's awesome. Yes. Let's look at a con. Well, people are being used and people are being kind of stripped of their, free of will and stripped of their wallets. Their wallets are technically not theirs anymore. It's the company's. But then again, another pro could be, it's convenient. You're saving money. That's great, right? Yeah, but what about the other businesses that may be smaller than Walmart, Because Walmart's known for having cheaper prices, and all that fun stuff. But that's only through predator marketing, which is basically when you have a business and you price everything lower than your competitors. So they have to compete with you and whatnot. So that kind of puts them near out of business, but it doesn't monopolize the market of retail. So that's both a con and a positive if you think about it. A positive meaning, your business is going to be better than anyone else's, but a con because other businesses may be in the toilet, People may not feel as though they have any more variety. They may feel as though they're forced to go here and not support their neighbors' business and whatnot. So with that being said, let's turn to another topic, a pretty big one, honestly. It's social media, and in my opinion, social media is the biggest manipulator in our lives nowadays in the 21st century, because everything in our lives are kind of dictated by this need to look like the celebrity that you may see on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. Let's take, for instance, Kim Kardashian. She may say, hey, in order to look like me, you need plastic surgery. Or like James Charles, in order to look like me, you need this type of makeup. And people will buy into that, and people will feel as though they may get judged by not looking like the trend that may be occurring for the next 3 months or the next year or so. So social media really does play a big part in how we see ourselves and how we judge ourselves and how we compare ourselves to other people. We treat ourselves either with, pride or disgust, depending on, what the trend may be at the current time. So with that being said, I had an interview with Deja Diamore, and we discussed not only, how America's hiding from our past and hiding from their past and telling their children the falsified story of Thanksgiving, and hiding the truth behind everything that was done in American history just to be rediscovered in high school or late in your middle school years, but also how social media really does change the way you act, change the way you feel about yourself and other people. Because the first thing that you want to think about America is home of the free, land of the brave, but actually it's like we're free, but that freedom is more so of a slavery if you think about it. Whatever freedom you have is towards something else. Like, you have the freedom to choose, but you're a slave to whatever you choose. Mm-hmm. So let's say
like today in America?
Yeah, like take for instance social media. Mm-hmm. You're free to follow whoever you want and like whatever you want, but you're a slave to that social media. And you're a slave to whatever that social media says. So if that person that you follow, take for instance Kim Kardashian, says you need to get plastic surgery in order to look a lot better, I bet you most of those peeps that are liking her posts are scheduling appointments for plastic surgery to look better.
Yeah, no, that's really extreme, but that also deals with the trends, and you're right, the manipulation, and yeah, it is happening all around us. It does alter our thinking and does not make us unique or creative. And it just makes us almost like robots, seeing something pretty, and it's I want to be like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
what's your main reason as to why you want to be like that is the real question.
Yeah. And, it's okay to like something that somebody else likes, but when you see it every day in your life, almost like body image, for example, not everybody's perfect in the first place. But what you see like on TV, you're like, oh my gosh, these people are perfect. You see this in movies. You see the guy always gets the girl, and just everything is almost perfect and a happy ending. But in life there are no endings. Everything keeps going unless you die. That's the ending. But
Now, Deja brings up a good point about seeing something pretty and wanting to look like that. See, in our culture, that's literally the core belief in our society, is seeing something that appeals to us and wanting it or wanting to look like that. And no matter what, we'll always try to compare ourselves to others that are quote unquote better than us. But in life, what's that all gonna mean when you die? There are really no endings. There's no endings other than being put 6 feet under. And in whatever you believe in, that may happen based off whatever you believe in. I'm not sure what happens when you die or after you die, but I've never died before, so who am I to say anything? But then again, yeah, there really are no endings other than, life going on without you. And what's all that gonna mean? What's all that pursuing of being that one person or being like a celebrity gonna be when that celebrity too is gonna pass on some time later in life? So with that being said, I'll piggyback on this topic one more time with an example of Mr. Walter's experience of when it comes to manipulation and how packaging and appeals and images may make it seem as though a product or something is going to be what you want and is going to be the cure-all of all your problems.
Are you okay with being recorded and used for an individual project? Okay. And I'm interviewing Mr. Walters today. What have you bought due to outside influence? So due to what other people think, or whether it's just I don't know. What has influence? What have you bought due to outside influence?
Probably everything in my life.
Yeah.
I've ever purchased. As far as advertising and things go, well, I'm not gonna say I'm not a victim, but in my Instagram feed.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's a big one.
I get a steady stream of ads that seem to be tailored to my likings, and so I kept seeing this one ad, something called Shooter's Lube, and it's for lubrication of firearms. And since this is completely outside of school, bring this stuff to school or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The reviews, everything seemed like it was just a miracle product. Like your firearms would miraculously recovered. So I bought some, and when I used it, I was like, this isn't really any better than stuff that you could get at Walmart.
Yeah.
But it's nicely packaged.
Mm-hmm. It looks pretty.
It comes amazing and amazing bottles and.
We were talking about that, like laundry detergent and stuff like that. They'll say, this is going to be better than your best laundry detergent or whatever, like in commercials and stuff. Yeah. Verizon and AT&T in their commercials, they'll bash each other. It's basically the same product, but with just a different wrapping. You know what I mean?
So, in conclusion, to state my point again, no matter how you see it, you're being manipulated in some sort of way or another, whether you realize it or not. And no matter how you may try to change it in some way, whatever is making you want to change is manipulating you, and that freedom becomes more so of a slavery than you may think of it as being, metaphorically speaking. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a really, really good day. Thank you.